what do you want to get out of this project?
Kind of my dad back.
British boys are in crisis. Thousands are growing up without their fathers. This is the story of two boys who want their dads back. In a radical new project, the dads that left them behind move back in.
I wanted you to get real pissed off.
Oh, God.
Then to the wilderness.
Put your hand flat on your heart.
With a renowned psychotherapist.
Get away, I don't want to speak to you.
Who will unravel them.
You call yourself a man?
That's right, man, I'm in the queue.
Fucking monkey, you call yourself a man?
Fucking monkey?
Yeah.
So they can start again.
Shouldn't have said that, Ruby. It was made it work.
It's just gonna hurt me.
I just don't know what the fuck was wrong with me.
The experience would take them beyond their relationships.
Oh, my God.
And go further than any of them expected.
I've got to get clear around this.
Two fathers, two sons, and one big question. If you walk out, can you ever truly walk back in? This is Bertie. He's 14 and lives in Brighton. He's obsessed with basketball, hip-hop and trainers. Bertie has been without his father for 13 years. His dad makes only occasional visits, always unannounced and often drunk.
He's let at least every one of us down a number of times, and he needs to not prove to everyone, just like he needs to just like say, oh look, I'm sorry, from now on I'm gonna be there and help and stuff.
He hasn't ever had a dad. I mean, sometimes he's been around, but he's not been a dad, not what a dad should be, not involved in his life, and just know him, know those, like what his favourite dinners are and all those little things that you know when you know somebody intimately and you know their life. He's not had that at all. And a boy needs his father.
This is Bert's dad, Simeon. He only played father to his son for the first year of his life. Then he was kicked out due to alcohol abuse, infidelity, and an all-consuming fear of commitment. He's now about to move back into the family home for a couple of days.
You're all like Bertie, big potato.
Mum Natalie and older sister Yasmin will move out, leaving Simeon alone to reconnect with his son and also be parent to Bert.
Bye.
For the first time since he was a baby. The challenge is enormous. As Simeon, a 38-year-old white van driver, has spent the last 13 years running away from just this kind of responsibility.
I was doing it and that's it. I wasn't going to back out at any point, but it's only been the last couple of days that I've sort of started to feel a little bit nervous about, or more, you know, just, like I said, apprehensive about it, but
Yes.
it's getting closer and closer, but, you know. I'm here now, so let's do it.
What do you think your dad's thinking?
I reckon he's a bit shit in it, really, inside.
The second father and son pair are from South London. This is James. He's 15. He likes athletics, video games and Millwall Football Club. He spent the last 7 years without a dad. His father Paul walked out of his life when James was 8, thanks to divorce. Paul remarried, had more kids, and forgot about James, leaving him with only very limited contact.
So what do you want to get out of this project?
Kind of my dad back. And speaking to him and seeing him more.
James lives with his younger sister Hannah and his mum Diane, who for the next couple of days will also be moving out.
Bye.
leaving James alone with his dad.
Oh, wow.
I don't know, it'd be a bit strange at first. Never had him around for longer than an hour. A bit nervous. But excited.
Keen to forge a better relationship, Paul, a 41-year-old gas meter reader, jumped at the chance to take part in this project.
Hello.
Hi, James.
No, I don't want to let James down, you know. I want him to be proud of me. I'm hoping that, you know, by going through this process, you know, hopefully it will, you know, improve our relationship and improve his opinion of me.
The fathers and sons can now spend some quality time together.
Well, here we are.
And do what men do best.
Come in then.
Not talk.
You got any plans?
No,
For later on?
not really.
Yeah, that was it. System set up.
To help them, they have one of the country's top psychotherapists, Professor Andrew Samuels.
The problem for men is that they don't express any emotions because to do so means you can't avoid expressing the negative and difficult ones. My role is to open these four men up, to see what happens if they start to enjoy the full range of emotional communication with each other, and then to step back and see what happens.
First stop Brighton, to see Simeon and Bertie, and to get them to start talking about why Simeon hasn't been around.
So you disappeared, as I understand it, and you don't know why or where you went or anything about it. What happened?
I just kind of felt that I wasn't really ready to be around and to be your dad, but really, I made the wrong decisions. My priorities were wrong. I was busy partying with my friends, but
You know, for lots of father-son pairs, the problem is to become less father-sonish, you know, less hierarchical, less formal. But for people like Simeon and Bertie who've lost contact and haven't got really any idea of what a father-son relationship feels like, they've first got to become, in a way, a little old-fashioned, a little bit that Simeon really is the authority and the one who's going to help Bertie with all his life issues. And then maybe they can, you know, become more informal and let it hang out together. But first they've got to do it, as it were, traditionally, and then they can do it less traditionally later.
To help them begin to have a traditional relationship, Professor Samuels has set them a task. Tonight, Bertie will have a boys' night. He's invited his mates over. And Simeon...
I'm Simeon, first dad.
...will have to be the responsible father.
Bradley and...
For the first time.
How you doing? Let's go inside, eh? I don't think they're going to run riot. You know, I've only sort of seen them sort of 30 seconds or a minute or so. We'll see how the evening goes. I don't really see that there'll be any problems. I'm kind of hoping that Bert wouldn't have any friends who would be major problems.
By 9 o'clock, most of Bertie's guests have arrived.
Bertie, how many friends is going to be staying over tonight?
Whoever wants to.
So what's the plan then?
I might pick some friends up in town and bring them here, I don't know.
Have you actually done it? It's all right.
No?
Right. How you doing? I've got some pizza and garlic bread and stuff. I'll stick it in the oven and we'll eat in about half hour.
We might go out. I don't know if we're going to go out.
Okey-doke. So where are you thinking of going?
We're going to go to town, aren't we?
Yeah.
You're going to go into town at 9 o'clock?
And meet some girls.
Why don't you go to the park for half an hour whilst this food's being prepared, come back, eat, and then we'll see what happens. I'm not cool with going out again late after that. It's 9:15 now. I really do mean half an hour, because the food's going to be ready, yeah?
Cool, yeah.
Nice one, thank you.
Nice to meet you.
See you. Well, I'll see you again in a little bit, won't I?
Yeah. No, I ain't.
11 o'clock. And Bertie is over an hour late.
Hello?
Are you on your way?
No, we're not.
No, you're not. Right. I need to know when you're going to be.
Oh, turn your phone off.
We're not going to be long.
It's not going to be long. Does not answer my question. I need to know when you're going to be here.
Don't know, an hour or two, I think.
In an hour or two?
Yep.
Okie doke. Right. Whereabouts on the beach are you, Bert?
Why do you want to know that?
Oh, you're involved.
Well, obviously you can lie to me like I think you might have done before, but I ran down to the beach and didn't find you.
Where did you go then?
Forget that. Whereabouts are you?
You're like half cracking up and like I can't hear you.
Right. I'll say it again, shall I?
Pardon?
I'll tell you what, Bert, if it's such a terrible line, I'll put the phone down and I'll call you back in 2 minutes, okay?
Right, cool.
Right.
Bye.
Go on your dad and ask him quick. Look, a stay. Bertie.
Oh, let me. I want to show a bit of the boy.
He's a cheeky little bastard.
We've got a fringe.
1 a.m. and Bertie finally decides to come home.
See that, lads? Ah, it's going to be a nice sleep tonight.
I thought we had an arrangement. You were going to be back whacking.
I wanted you to get angry. I wanted you to get real pissed off.
Yeah, I'm pissed off, yeah.
Why are you pissed off?
Why am I pissed off? I'm pissed off because it appeared that after we sort of agreed something, that it appeared that agreement was, as I said before, meant nothing.
Any way, like, during your point of a relationship, did you, like, agree to Mum to see me and Yaz, or...?
Did I agree to? I didn't agree to, but obviously it was...
No, but I know you.
I
know you said you would turn up and not turned up.
Yeah.
If you've done it, why can't I do it?
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying.
Because you proved to me today at the moment you're a pushover.
It's really weird, because it's not how I see it.
The thing is, if he did come out shouting, then I would have just laughed in his face. I would have just... Yeah.
The estranged fathers and sons have spent the last 24 hours together.
Ow!
Getting to know one another.
So this gentle father and son bonding.
Oh, that's in my hair.
Tomorrow, they'll be moving on to the second stage of the project and heading off for the Lake District. To help them reconnect, they have psychotherapist Andrew Samuels.
Let's go in.
15-year-old James has always wanted his estranged father of 7 years in his life. But 41-year-old divorcee Paul has always claimed to be too busy with his new family.
Okay, do you know what the word victim means?
Yeah.
Do you sometimes feel you're being a bit of a victim?
Not a victim as such. Not really. No, not a victim.
Do you see what I'm getting at?
I don't. I think I think you can look at it and take that angle, but I think.
You feel a bit protected?
I don't agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, that's all right.
I don't think he is a victim. I don't think he's been treated badly. There may have been times where he's really unhappy, because he hasn't seen me maybe for a couple of weeks. But when I see him, he'll be as nice as pie and he won't say anything, So it's kind of like, if he is unhappy, he's keeping it from me.
What he said there was true.
Yes.
There are times when, I want to say things, but I never do because...
Yeah, it's like I can't change and I can't help him.
Yeah.
If you won't, if you won't tell me what's.
You can't undo the past either.
Yeah.
he's going to want to say things to you that have to do with things you can't do anything about.
Yeah.
So this is bloke stuff.
Yeah.
Blokes don't talk if they can't see a possible result.
Yeah.
Well, talking is good on its own, whether there's a result or not.
To start them talking openly, Professor Samuels has suggested Paul and James go out for the afternoon and do an activity. The only prerequisite is that Paul has to choose what they do.
"16 to 5, James Street."
Horse racing has always been Paul's favourite pastime, somewhere he brings his current wife Emma and his 3 young sons. It's the first time he's ever brought James, who's eager to learn all he can.
These horses have been trained all their life.
All these horses are 4, so they've been trained for about 3 years.
It's 4 young or old?
Young.
How old's old?
Old, what, in racing?
They retire.
They normally retire when they're about 12, 13.
Wow, these horses have got years of racing.
Yeah, they're just starting out.
If I ever become rich, I'll buy a racehorse and you can name it that.
Okay. Yeah, it is just amazing to think it's taken me this long to bring in racing, which is the one thing that I really enjoy doing. And it's not just the only thing we could have done today. You know, there's 3 or 4 different things that we could have done together. You know, there was no shortage of ideas, you know, from me or from him, you know, so it's definitely something we've got to put right in the future.
Everyone's going to win.
Were you surprised with how much your dad knew about horse races then?
He knew everything. It was nice. He shared his knowledge with me. I know some bits now, so I wouldn't have had a clue otherwise. Really fun. I really enjoyed it. And I won a bet. That was good. And that was my horse that I chose.
Yeah, I'm feeling really terrible. He said it was one of the best days he's ever had. There's just so much else I could have done that I haven't done. I'm just really frightened now that I've left it too late. To do the stuff with him that he's probably wanted to do so much.
Lake Windermere, home for the estranged fathers and sons for the next 3 days. Here they'll lead a basic life. No TV, no telephone, no diversions, and nowhere to hide.
We need to get them out of their comfort zone, away from all the distractions of home. We need to get them to a place which is just sufficiently pressureful, and an activity centre will do that. But it's also kind of safe and containing, a kind of total environment. It leaves the space for them to explore some new emotional things. We're going to show you some footage of yourselves, which sort of summarises where you've got to.
With his first activity, Professor Samuels is keen to get the men to face some home truths. He's chosen some clips of the boys talking about the most significant men in their lives.
He's my dad. He's a bit lazy. I don't know how you put lazy on a scale to 1 to 10, but he'll be about 9. He's my dad, but it's more like he's my friend at the moment. For him to be my dad.
James discusses his uncle, Stuart.
He's a really nice person. He does a lot for me, seeing as I'm not his son. We're really good friends, talk about everything. Like, we can hold a really long conversation, plus we have interests, and he knows things about things that I like, so we can talk for hours. So it's good. If me and my dad had that kind of relationship, then I reckon it'd be perfect.
sometimes really hard, but actually, if you want your son to have the space and the freedom to have a go at you, he sure as hell did with this business about your brother. Sometimes people, yeah, exactly. Sometimes people don't. It's not lovely to see you do that. I don't think you're going to get a more honest expression than you got from James in that clip. And so I think you now know you can enjoy each other, and you can say absolute shit things, because that is a shit thing to say in one way, and yet you can put your hand on him. Let's have a 5-minute break.
Are you okay?
James, get away. I don't want to speak to you. Just get away.
He says he doesn't want to speak to me.
You can't sort of tell him you don't want to speak to him now, can you? Because you're going to get nowhere, innit?
To hear him talking like that about my brother, I mean, I've never had a best friend. I've never had a friend, and my best friend used to be my brother. Up until a couple of years ago, I could talk to him about anything, you know? But now, he's like a complete stranger, you know? And to me, that just looked like revenge. That was like James's way of saying, you know, you haven't been there for me, you know.
That's kind of like what Andrew was saying, though, even if it is, like, hurtful or whatever, even if it is revenge, he's just letting you know that he's upset, that he's angry, that's what he's doing. And we're the dads, so we've got to be the big man about it, haven't we, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I just...
I think if I'd have heard that from my son, I'm sure I'd be just as upset, just as pissed off as your dad. But after a while, you think it through. And as Andrew said in there, it's you calling out to your dad. You're telling him what's wrong. You're giving him a chance to put things right by explaining what's wrong.
When you said you want to speak to me, I thought I don't piss you off.
I'm sure. Like I've been stabbed in the heart. Not just by you. It was just the icing on the cake.
But we're here to make it better, and everything needs to come out to make it better.
It just feels like from now on, it doesn't matter what I try. If you need anyone, you won't come to me, you'll go to him.
I shouldn't have said that already, should I? Maybe it's made it worse.
He just couldn't have hurt me. And I've never done it. We had a shit relationship, at least we had.
We've got one now. I feel like we haven't got a relationship. Look how much fun we've had. We've never had fun like that. It's like at the races. So now we know we've got things in common. We can be like that. He thinks I expect him to be like my uncle. And that we're never going to have the same relationship as that. He's really upset, so I have fucked up.
But that wasn't what you meant by what you said, was it?
I tried to tell him that. He just didn't listen. He thinks he's run out of time.
The thing about Paul and James right now is that they are actually where they said they wanted to be. Paul wanted to hear the criticism, to hear the attack from his son, and then move on. And James wanted to make sure that he had a real grip on his father. He wasn't going to slip through his hands again. They're actually there, but of course they hardly know that yet.
Professor Samuels has designed the 3 days to challenge the fathers and sons, but not to let them dwell on unhelpful emotions. So 2 hours after they've fallen out, Paul and James join Bertie and Simeon for a physical activity.
Can you tighten that a bit? Can you tighten that a bit?
Their task is to climb this 50-foot ladder with only each other as support.
This one's going to be quite hard.
You can do it. I've got you. I've got you.
Wait, I need your rope. Where's your rope?
Oh, it's here. Right behind you. Right behind your elbow.
Shit! Shit! Bollocks! Bollocks!
Yeah.
Elbow.
Elbow? What do you mean?
Was in my balls.
Oh, sorry.
It's me standing.
Oh, God. Oh, it's getting weaker and weaker. Right, here we go. Here's the...
I nearly fell off.
Just go for it. Just go. Yes.
Well done.
Oh, shit. Well done.
Do you think that if that had happened at our house, how much longer would it have took for us to go over it?
God, yeah.
We wouldn't have
I would
been
have
doing
stormed
an
off.
activity.
We wouldn't have seen each other for, you know, it would have dragged on and on. But because, you know, that's why I wanted to come and find you. It's just making more effort in it. It's just not being so lazy. We can't waste
the opportunity we've been given.
You know, this chance, you know, to put things right and make sure they stay right. You know, put the past behind us and move on. And you know, what better place to do it, you know, than somewhere like here, you know.
Day 2 in the lakes. Professor Samuels wants to focus on the other estranged father and son pair. After years spent apart, 14-year-old Bertie has little knowledge of his dad's past, so Professor Samuels feels Simeon's history is an area worth exploring.
We're going to do some improvised role play. I'm going to turn it over into a dramatic version of scenes from Simeon's life. You know, it's part of relationship to create things together. And this is an artificial situation, but it gives them a chance to really create little dramas together, working as a team.
Are you going to change that nappy or what then?
I'm tired. I've just been at work. I'm tired.
Their first role play is a conversation between Bert's parents about why they split up. Bertie is playing his dad Simeon, and Simeon is playing Bert's mum Natalie.
I'm doing all this on my own already. I don't need to do all this on my own and have you around when you're not helping. You know, I don't need any extra shit around, do I?
We can work this out, and I'm bringing money in this family.
It's not about work it out. You think you're going to talk me around again? You know, you've been doing that for years. I've made a decision. You're doing fuck all to help the situation here. I don't need you here. When you're doing nothing, those 2 kids don't need you here. Get out.
Okay. You and your mum.
For their second role play, Andrew wants Bertie to play his mother Natalie and recreate the discussion she would have had with him as a child, explaining the breakdown of the relationship.
Right. No.
Simeon is playing Bertie.
Hi, Mum.
Hi, son. You all right?
Yeah. Just having a bit of a hard time at school.
Really?
Yeah.
Why's that?
Well, Just my mate's taking a piss, you know. My dad ain't around, all their dads are there. Where's my dad?
Well, we broke up years ago.
Did you not try to make things better? Stick it out?
We tried, but I know he was going to come up with the same bullshit again, so...
Didn't you think I might have wanted him around?
Well, yeah, but he was not doing you any good at all.
Feel hurt?
Yeah, it hurts, realising and hearing what you've done, what you're responsible for. But to people that you're supposed to love. If you're not bringing anything to the table, I don't need you around, innit? You know what I mean? And if it wasn't just not bringing anything to the table, it was making things worse, me being around. There's no point in me, there's no point in me not being honest to you now, is there, basically?
No.
I'll look you in the eye now and tell you that anything you ask me, I will tell you the truth. Look at me, but I mean it.
Why'd you get kicked out?
Why?
Yeah.
Why did I?
Get kicked out of your house.
Why did I get kicked out of the house? I was useless, I was abusive, I was a drunk. There would have been hundreds of lies I've told your mum over the years, but hundreds of them.
Were you unfaithful?
Sorry?
Were you unfaithful?
Yes, I was unfaithful as well.
What did my mum ever do to you?
You mean sort of to deserve that?
Yeah.
Nothing, but, you know, your mum didn't deserve that. I did that off my own back. I couldn't tell you why. You know, I don't know why I did that. Your mum didn't do anything wrong there.
OK, one more.
For the final role play, Andrew wants Simeon to remember his own childhood.
You did shout.
For the first 5 years of his life, Simeon was fostered by a white family. It's never been discussed.
Let's do the fostering conversation, how that decision got made, what they were talking about.
How they decided to foster...
Yeah, and how the conversation would have gone.
Well, the situation's clearly not working, is it? We don't have time. It's not... As you know, I'm away. I can be away from Monday till Wednesday. You've got to work. We got these 2 kids here. How do we deal with this?
Well, we need to, I think we need to adopt them, or to foster them.
You think that's the best situation? The best solution?
Yeah, I don't see any way. They're just getting, I think they're just getting in the way, and so...
They're getting in the way?
Yeah.
Can we have a break, please?
Put it into words. Would you mind? Put it into words.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know what the fuck was wrong with me. And it sounds fucking hypocritical coming from me, but you know, you're supposed to... You arrange your life, you're supposed to arrange your life around your kids. You don't fit your kids in around your life and your job and your situation. The priorities are all wrong and they're fucked up. How did they decide they want me now, but they didn't want me before? But you know how that one feels, don't you? I just don't understand the situation, and I still don't understand now.
sons like it when their fathers have feelings. They like it when their fathers have vulnerabilities. They like it when their fathers are real. And absolutely they've bonded. They have a far greater degree of emotional connection than they did before. But you've got to remember that things that for a lot of father-son couples would be really bog standard are incredibly risky and dangerous for people like this who haven't had that kind of experience in the past.
Risky and dangerous, what do you mean?
Well, first of all, if you get really involved with somebody who you know to have been unreliable, where does that leave you? Where does that leave the son? Absolutely at risk. And from the father's point of view, they're giving, they're owning all kinds of failures and inadequacies. What if the son says, well, piss off, actually, I still don't believe you or want to have anything to do with you? That's a big danger.
Day 3 in the Lake District. For the next 24 hours, the fathers and sons will camp out in the wilderness.
Have a look at the toilet facilities and that.
There is none. You have to dig a hole. No, I'm not pooing out here.
Don't poo them. You might have a long wait, though. You know what I mean?
You can hit the ground.
A week ago, these estranged fathers and sons had trouble even discussing the weather. But now, under the stars, there's nothing left to hide.
I wanted to ask Paul, tell us the story of the first time you started to really get into sexual stuff with someone.
That's deep shit.
That was with a girl that I met through work. I worked on the fruit and veg and she worked on the checkouts. and no, that was like my first...
That's so cool.
That was kind of like my first serious relationship. We were actually engaged.
Whoa.
And yeah.
He's like, what?
Yeah, we got engaged. I think I was 21 and she was 18 when we got engaged.
Don't remember her name. It was just meaningless sex. I think, you know, if there's no emotional thing there, it's just the same as masturbation, isn't it? It's just there's somebody else.
True.
There's somebody else involved.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all you do.
That's true.
That's all you're doing, isn't it?
I can't believe it's true, though.
What's wrong with that then?
No, it's just the way you said it.
It's just like really sunk in just how far we've come.
It's hard to look back, isn't it? Because you don't think, what, a week and a bit ago you were coming into my house and we didn't even say a word. You walked through the door and was like, hello? Yeah. Now look, we're talking about a campfire.
No, I know.
It feels so weird.
It really is. It's just unbelievable.
Their time in the Lake District has come to an end. Professor Andrew Samuels has one final activity for the fathers and sons.
Listen, Dads, how do you reckon the boys have done?
I think they've done great. You know, he's said some things since we've been here, opened up a bit, and I think he's done really well.
OK, I think it would be a really nice idea for you to express the kind of positive feelings in a more dignified, memorable way. So I'm going to ask each dad to make a little speech in honour of their son to the son. So, Simeon and Bertie, let's do you first. Bertie, can you come round this way?
Well, firstly, Bert, I want to say thank you for giving me the chance to come here and try and build things up with you, because you didn't have to give me that chance at all. I admire the way that you found the courage to come out with some of the things that you've said and to do some of the things you've done on camera, knowing that your friends from school are going to see it and that take some proper balls, so I'm impressed.
And if you had to say all that without words, what would you do?
I'll just bring you over here and give you a hug, boy, I tell you. Nice one, son. Well done. I reckon between us we're going to be all right. I know there's more work to do, but we've made a start. It's all good. Right? Mm-hmm. Love you.
I'm really proud of the way that you've tackled everything. You know, the fact that everyone likes you makes me really proud. And you've given me the chance to talk about stuff that I've never talked about before. So I just want to say thank you. And I love you. No, don't have shame. I promise I'm not going to let you down again.
Well done, you two. You're going into your domestic situations, which is going to be fraught anyway. But the changes that have happened here are going to ripple right the way through the whole family network. And there's bound to be a kind of, if you pardon the word, a kind of counterattack on what's been happening. So you're going to have to think about it together, strategize together, like you did on the apparatus and all that kind of thing, how you're going to make sure that what you've got doesn't get broken.
The fathers and sons have reached the final stage of the project, and the time to deal with fundamental issues has arrived. Both Simeon and Paul were rejected when they were children by their fathers, and both haven't seen them in years.
We know enough now about problematic parenting to be aware that it runs right across the generation, so it makes a lot of sense for Simeon and for Paul, the two fathers, to track down their own fathers and get a sense of the poverty, if you like, the emotional poverty of their beginnings.
But before they can face the past, the fathers need to deal with the present and the challenge of persuading the rest of the family that they're making real progress. It's not going to be easy for Simeon and Bertie. Simeon's behavior over the last 13 years has isolated him from the family. Worst of all was when Bertie reached 10 and Simeon completely disappeared.
Bertie was doing a gig at this under-18s night. He was playing decks. He used to play for a while. And he had this gig, and we invited Simeon down to this gig, and he turned up. And he said to Yaz, I'll be back in a minute. He went to the toilet, and he just left the club, and we didn't see him for 2 or 3 years after that.
He could have done so much more, so much better. He could have just picked up the phone, like within that 2 or 3 years we weren't seeing him, picked up the phone and called him. There was nothing on birthdays or Christmases, no card, no phone calls or anything. He could have just picked up the phone.
10 o'clock, and Bertie arrives home, full of news.
It's changed proper.
What, Dad has?
Yeah. Because he was getting proper angry when Dad did role play, yeah? I'm going to swear, Mum, right? I'm going to say what he said.
Bertie?
No, no.
Okay,
And
can't you just use a...
No.
Let him do it, the letter.
And he was going... He was crying, and he was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? And all this, like, why he got adopted and stuff.
Do you think he's going to sort himself out and get himself a flat, or...
Yeah, he wants to get himself a better job, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh? Do you think
He's getting a flat within the next couple of months, he said.
Do you think this is going to be a permanent...
It's easier said than done, though.
Trust, yeah, but the things he's shown...
But this is the thing, I think, for Yaz and for me... Well, I mean, I think for Yaz, he needs to do it. He needs to do these things.
He's gonna.
Do you know what I mean? He's had this experience with you, and it's bonded you, and that bond will last. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Yaz hasn't had that.
He said he's going to come back and he's going to do what he done with me up there.
So he needs...
Because he said to me, oh, I fucking love you, Bert, and all this.
Bertie,
Like,
please stop
no, this is what he was saying to me.
You don't have to say it to me,
Oh,
right?
he was like, oh, I really love you. And then he was like, oh...
You know, he was saying things and he was swearing, you know, more than he... And, like, obviously he's been, like, with the boys or whatever, of course, but I was like... All right, son, you don't have to come back, do you know what I mean? When you come back here, you're part of this family, you're not... and it's like, oh, no. You know, it's not about him being on my side or Simeon's side. Of course, he loves us both, do you know what I mean? But, yeah, no, it's quite odd having him... It's hard to describe it. It's not sides, but having him not wholly with me. Do you know what I mean?
You're sharing him a lot more.
Yeah, and I've never had to share either of you.
Does the leopard change its spots?
Don't know.
It's been 2 days since the estranged fathers and sons returned from the Lake District. And in South London, James is with his 3 half-brothers and his stepmum, Emma. This is their first proper time together.
What's it like being around these boys?
They're loads of fun. They take it out of you. They got so much energy, it doesn't run away.
How are you getting along with Emma?
Really well. Talking, fighting. It's fun. It's all good.
I should have made more of an effort, you know, having them round and stuff. And this, you know, really makes you think that, you know, things should have been different because everyone needs their dad. It doesn't matter if you're, you know, 6, 16 or 46. You know, everyone needs their dads.
You missed, you do.
James has even taken on babysitting duties.
Why do you stay in?
You do realise that means wiping their butt if they need to.
Yeah, if you hear wipe your butt.
If you wipe your bottom, that means you've got to get in there and...
You lot hold your poo 30 minutes, yeah? Don't kick him and punch him. It's quite hard work. They're a handful, major handful. They like to do crazy things. Do you want to go? You do.
But that's slide away.
What are you doing?
Down in Brighton, Simeon is living back with his foster mum, Maddie.
He knows I love him and I know he loves me, so he's always here on and off.
He is your little boy.
He is my little boy, yeah. As big as he is.
But tonight, Maddie is giving Simeon some space, as he's invited over Bertie, Bert's mum Natalie, and his next big challenge, his 15-year-old daughter Yasmin.
How you doing? We haven't even started yet, Yaz, have we?
No. Why did you say, I'll be back in 1 minute and then leave for 3 years?
That's a really good question.
I felt really crap about myself for years and years and years. Yeah, I've tried to hide it and whatever, but I kind of... I'm not quite... I didn't necessarily feel I had a great deal to offer, and also... just running scared again, yeah, running scared. I do remember making the decision not to come back. I made a conscious decision to do that. To just walk out the door, the front door was there, and I walked.
Fucking low, man.
That is low, isn't it?
I think it takes a leap of faith. Bert had no real reason to believe in me or to trust me, or, you know, because I've spent years bullshitting, letting you down, but Bert took that leap of faith and gave me the chance.
Yes, you want Dad in your life?
I don't know.
No.
It's been a week since they returned from the lakes, and James has been a permanent fixture round at Paul's. Today, following Andrew Samuel's advice, Paul is going to see his dad. The only problem is he hasn't seen his father since he was 3 years old. But he does have an address.
How did he track it down to this road?
I use the internet.
Which house do you think it is?
Number 4.
I walk past and look through the window.
I'd rather sit here. You can go and have a look if you want. I mean, because I never got a reply to the letter that I wrote to that address, kind of, you know, I've kind of sort of told myself that, you know, that I'd got it wrong and that he wasn't living there. And now that we're back here again, it's like, what if I'm right? And he is living there, and he just ignored the letter, you know, so...
I think they're out in their garden.
Should we have a walk up and down?
Yeah. I really feel like knocking on the door, because I really want to know if someone's in there. You can imagine just what that would feel like, just a boy at your door. I'm your granddad, I'm your grandson.
Yeah. But it could be an unpleasant surprise.
Yeah.
You know, it could be a pleasant surprise, it could be an unpleasant surprise.
Could really shock him as well.
Yeah.
Looking for someone?
Excuse me. See next door there, that door? There's someone called live there.
Is it?
Trace Dad. I'm just trying to find out if it's the right person or if I'm...
What is he? Apart from that, he's quite old.
He'll be about 64.
Yeah, he is.
And his father was a baker?
Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
Well, what's happening?
That's his dad.
We'll leave it with you. We'll go.
Thank you.
Is your dad?
He and his
I haven't
wife.
seen him.
He and his
38
wife.
years.
Oh, do you know what? I just think you look like him.
Thank you.
You look like him. Yeah.
My God.
As soon as she said, he's a baker, his dad was a baker.
I know.
Shit, you were like...
God. Fucking hell, I've got to get my head around this.
Oh, God.
I can't believe it. Oh, God.
In Brighton, Simeon and Bertie have also been spending a lot of time together.
See, now she's 60-odd and grey, but still attractive.
Shut up. Are you serious?
Sorry, Bert. Yeah, I am serious.
Dad.
It's Helen Mirren, Bert.
So?
Okey-doke.
Since talking about being fostered for the first 5 years of his life, Simeon has been considering contacting his Ghanaian parents, and for the first time discussing his feelings about it.
Children, they'll accept the death of a parent quite easily. They'll go on with life, but you reject them, you've done their brain in. You know, they'll walk around and say, well, my dad died, and they're assured he loves them, but my dad rejected me, and that's their life ruined. There was no way you were going to take to these people. You resented being given up, and you resented being taken back.
To you, it seems that it's important that I build this relationship with them.
I think it's important that you make your peace with them. I think it's important that you talk to them. I think it's important that you're compassionate enough to hear what they've got to say. But I'm not under the impression that it's going to be an ideal relationship.
There might not be a relationship. There's more to it as well, man. It's not just a feeling of rejection. It's things that went on whilst I was living with them.
Yeah. When they're in their own country, they're adults at 5, and you stand on your own 2 feet.
Yeah, there's no situation in any society that I've ever heard of where it's acceptable to kick your kids down the fucking stairs, to hold a knife to your kid's neck. There's no possible way that is acceptable.
It's very acceptable when you get beaten.
Listen to me. Listen to me. There is no way that is acceptable. No way.
No, it's not. It's not accepted in our.
No, man, you're not listening to me.
Way.
I don't care where the fuck you come from, what society you live in, where you were brought up, how you were brought up. There is no way that is acceptable.
No, in this day and age, it wouldn't be. It isn't acceptable. It isn't acceptable anywhere, but it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And you can ruin your life. You can ruin your life thinking about it, or you can move on.
That's what I'm trying to do, man. And if moving on means getting what I need from them and leaving them behind, that's what I'm doing. And they need to know. They need to know what they've done.
It's been years since Simeon last spoke to either of his parents.
Hi, Mum. There's things that we need to talk about. It won't necessarily be a pleasant experience. We'll do this, and then we'll see what happens. Well, I'm gonna go now. Okay, thanks, Mum. Bye-bye.
It's really brave. Definitely. It's a big step, isn't it?
Over the years, she has made contact, and I've said, you know, the same as before. Bullshit and stuff. I've just sort of said, yeah, okay, I'll call you. And I haven't.
What? She's called you, but you won't give her another chance?
Can't tell you right now.
How'd you feel if me and you didn't talk and I phoned you up saying, alright, we need to talk, blah, blah, blah. Then how would you feel if after that, I was like, fuck you. Like, took what I wanted from you and just...
I'd feel horrible. I was prepared to be rejected by you and by Yaz. If, you know, because you can't always put things right.
In South London, there's a surprise for Paul.
I just thought it would be helpful just to basically have a chat with you, to meet up somewhere neutral just for about half an hour.
Having discovered where his biological father lives, Paul left his number.
Yeah, that's right.
24 hours later, his dad phones.
You know, for myself personally, you know, it would just be nice to meet you. So any time from sort of 12 o'clock onwards, really, whatever suits you. Thank you very much. All right, thanks. Cheers. See you then. Bye.
The last time Paul saw his father was 38 years ago, on the evening he left, when Paul was only 3 years old.
I'm just hoping it's not, like, really awkward. I know it's obviously going to be awkward to a certain extent, you know, but I just hope we can talk kind of naturally and, you know, in a relaxed sort of manner, you know, about all the stuff that needs talking about. You know, I don't really know. I haven't got a set... a set agenda of questions that I want to ask him. I don't really know. Now I'm really bricking it. I've been quite cool up to now, but the old butterfly's kicking it big time now. Okay. Right. There you go, Bucky.
Simeon is on his way to confront his parents. He's going to talk to them for the first time about his feelings of anger and rejection.
I'm nervous about it because I think my mum might find it quite upsetting.
What about your dad?
The impression I get is that lately he's full on been hitting the bottle, and you know, my mum, they're still living together, but my mum, when I spoke to her last week, she hadn't seen him for a few days. I think he'd just been out on a bender.
Your dad's an alcoholic?
Mm-hmm. Hi, Mum.
Hello.
Just get rid of this. I won't be a second.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay, you okay?
Right, thank you.
Simeon hasn't set foot in his parents' house since he was 17.
Okay. Come in.
You're the big boy now.
I think you want to bring out some things you feel very strongly about. For example, you mentioned to me about the knife. The first time I did it, it was my way of showing you how mad I was.
I was, I don't know, in my early teens, Mum, I'd say sort of 13, 14-year-old child with his mother holding a knife to his neck. You really need to think about that, Mum. You really need to think about it. Would you say that was an acceptable form of parenting?
It wasn't. But would you say what you did was acceptable?
Making some orange juice, I think, wasn't it?
You weren't making orange juice, Simeon.
What was I doing?
You stole my letter that your dad sent to me with some money inside it. Why you took that money, what for to buy yourself cigarettes. You completely denied it until I found the envelope in your room. At that time, I didn't even have enough money to buy food to last us a week.
We're just human. See.
I do not think we had a proper relationship as a family. And there's an obvious line from that to the fact that for years I was barely involved with my children's lives.
I think it was a bad beginning for a young life.
Take yourself back to your roots in Africa where you were born. How much time did you spend with your mom, your dad, to be able to know that they care and love you regardless?
Very little time. In fact, Dad was always walking away. And
it's the same thing again, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've probably spent the last 20 years beating myself up and being horrible to the people that I love. And at the same time, I understand what you were saying before, Mum, that you did what you thought was right. But I don't think it was right at all.
And you still don't think it was right?
No, I don't.
All I could say is look forward and try and be honest.
I think we'll have to see what happens, Mum. I'm going to be brutally honest here. I don't know. I don't know if I do want a relationship with the two of you. I don't know. That's what I was trying to say, but in a kind of sheep-logic way. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay. I love you, despite everything else.
Thanks for coming.
Okay, thanks for your time.
Thanks, young man.
It's fun. Cool.
What do you think of that?
Proud of you, Dad.
Definitely, yeah. Ever since, like I said, I didn't think he was going to do it, so yeah, I'm proud of him for coming up here.
Do you love him still?
They seem like a real cold, evil bastard, but I don't know them. I can't love someone I don't know.
In South London, Paul has just spent the last couple of hours with his dad.
Fucking hell, that's a bit fucking heavy.
It's the first time he's seen him
Sorry about the language.
in 38 years.
He just said that Mum just made it perfectly clear she didn't want him to have any contact. She said stuff like that she said like, oh, you can take Paul out if you want, but he probably wouldn't want to go. And he just thought to himself, oh yeah, she's put the boot in, she's turned the knife, she's told him what a wicked dad he's got, and he doesn't want to know me anymore, so he just kind of accepted it. I feel that I'm being disloyal if I believe what he says. I feel I don't know what to feel, I really don't. I just wasn't expecting that at all. I think what's upsetting me is the fact that I was kind of hoping that this would give me all the answers I needed, but it hasn't. It's just created a load more questions. You know, it's not. I don't feel like it's closure at all, and I don't think I'm ever going to get the truth. Not from him, not from me mum, not from anyone.
It's been 6 months since the start of the project.
Hello, David.
Hello.
So, what's been happening since we saw you last, Paul?
Quite a bit, actually. I'm no longer working. I'm now a house husband, and Emma's out at work. She's working full-time, and she's gone back on the buses.
When Paul and his wife Emma realised that she could earn more than him, they decided that she should go back to work. For Paul, it was a good opportunity to spend more time with his sons.
I'd never really cooked some dinner before. Kay, pause it, come and have breakfast. I'd never really done anything for them. I thought, how difficult can it be looking after 3 boys? But there's just so much to it. There's so much I didn't know, but I thought I did know, so it's been quite an eye-opener.
Have you got to know your dad well this time?
Yeah.
What did you get to know about him?
That is a nice dad.
James is now at college, studying to be a plumber, and sees his dad twice a week.
First couple of weeks, I did feel a bit of a wuss, you know, but then now, the age that Kane's at now is roughly the age you were at when I left, you know, so it's like the stuff that I've seen them doing over the past few weeks and watching them grow up is what I missed out on with you, so you can kind of, you know, I can relate to it on lots of different levels.
We don't just sit for like hours. We just, every minute we're talking about something. We're not just quiet. And I just tell him, like before I used to think about telling him things, I just say it now. Because I know him better, so I know how he's going to react to it. I have a joke with him and stuff like that.
So it's better?
Yeah.
Remember at the very, very beginning, I said, why do you want to do it? And he said, I want my dad back.
Have I got my dad back? Yeah, I have.
It's made me realise that there are no excuses for not being there for your kids. You know, you're their dad, and that is your responsibility in life, is to be there for them when they need you. And they're the most important thing in my life. I think I lost sight of that, but I realise what my priorities are now in life, and it's my family and my kids.
In Brighton, a lot has changed for Simeon too. He's moved out of his foster mum's house and into his own flat.
Hurry up, boy, it's going to be late, isn't it?
And has kept in regular contact with his son Bertie.
Where are you two off to?
Watch the boy play ball, isn't it?
First game of the season.
Is it?
Yep.
How often do you guys see each other now?
A couple of times a week. I mean, the last sort of month or so, since he came back from Czech Republic, he's been over staying at my place probably at least twice a week, really, isn't it, recently? It's a nice feeling that he'll just phone up and say, oh, can I come round and stay tonight? You know, and that's just, you know, off the cuff like that, it's good.
Stay, and then I go over there, like sit down, have dinner, maybe talk about something, maybe watch a movie or something, and then that's it really. But it's better because I see him like twice a week or whatever like that.
Well, I think I know him now as well. I didn't just months ago. I barely knew him. Or I'm getting to know him. You know, I know. You're getting to know me.
Simeon now has a relationship with his son. But 6 months on, he's still struggling to build a relationship with his daughter, Yasmin. So tonight, he's invited Bertie, Bert's mum Natalie, and Yasmin over to try and sort things out.
One sec. Hiya. Hello. I haven't seen you in about 6 weeks, Jazz, have I?
No, not really.
Not at all.
Basically, what have you given me over the last 15 years?
Nothing. I've not been a dad for you. I've not been there for you. But I want to be part of your life. I want that to happen. That's what I want.
I really wanted to be that part of my life that much. For the past, however long, you would have done something more about it.
What kind of things would you have liked me to have done?
Well, I just would like you to have just been there for me, really. Just call me up and just have a chat. See how I am, see how school is. Just to chat. Or just anything rather than just nothing. Would have been nice, really.
I'd love to feel that we could do that as well.
See, I don't think we can do that.
No, I know we can't. That's what I mean. I would love to be able to feel that you and I could do that.
You've hurt her and rejected her for her entire life, and now you expect us to sit in the same room as her, and that's you trying and making an effort. You're crazy.
I'm not. It's not that I think that is me trying and making an effort. It's me thinking that is the first step. I've been misguided. That's right. I must have been. You don't want to talk to me, and which is fair enough now, isn't it?
I don't have anything to say to you, and it feels like you don't have anything to say to me, so that's a bit of an empty conversation. So we're not going to have a conversation.
So how am I to blame